Hey guys, my name's Lindsay, and today we're going to take a look at converting decimals, like these two examples we have written up there, into simplified fractions. So let's take a look at the first example that I have written. I've got 2.25. Now the 2 in front of the decimal is a whole number. It's not a fraction. So if I want to convert this into a fraction, I'm going to put the 2 down as a whole number. I'm not going to do anything with it. I'm going to focus with the values to the right of the decimal. And here I see a 2 and a 5. So I'm not going to worry about the decimal. I'm going to see the two numbers that I see, the 2 and the 5. I'm going to put them up there. And then on the bottom of this fraction, I'm going to always, when I'm doing this, start the bottom with a 1. And then I'm going to decide the amount of zeros based on the amount of values after the decimal. So what I mean is, here's my decimal. I've got 1, 2 numbers after the decimal. So I'm going to put 1, 2 zeros. You could also think of this as the last number is in the hundredths. There's tenths, is that 2? That's hundredths. So I'm going to put 100 under there. And 2 and 25 hundredths is 2.25 written as a fraction. But it isn't in its lowest terms because we could break this down a little farther. The whole 2 is going to stay there. Simplifying fractions. I'm going to take a look at the two numbers, the top and the bottom, and I'm going to think of a number that can divide evenly into both of those in order to simplify that fraction. And I'm going to say that if I divide both top and bottom by 25, 25 divided by 25 is 1, and 100 divided by 25 is 4. So 2 1/4 is the same as 2.25. Decimal form, simplified fraction form. Let's take a look at one more example. So I've got 7 decimal 1, 2, 3. Now you can, again, tenths, hundredths, thousandths. That 3 is in the thousandths spot. If I'm going to make that into a simplified fraction, the 7 out front is a whole number. That's not going to change. I'm going to take the 1, 2, and the 3 and put it on the top of my fraction. I'm going to put on the bottom of my fraction a 1, and then however many values are after the decimal. So I see 1, 2, 3 numbers after the decimal, so I'm going to put 1, 2, 3 numbers after my 1. So I've got 7 and 123 thousandths. And actually 123 over 1,000, that doesn't simplify, so I'm not going to go any farther than that. So there we have decimal form and we have fraction form. Let me just make myself some room, and I want to talk about one more thing. All right, guys, I'm back. Just need to take a minute to clear some room, and I want to talk about one more concept, and that concept is rounding. A lot of the times, if you're writing a test or if you've got something that you've got to calculate, the final answer, you're asked to round to a specific spot. So that's what we're going to talk about. So let's take a look at this example for a second. We've got 3.5678, and let's say that you were asked here to round to 2 decimal places. And if that was the case, the way that we would deal with that is we would look at 3.5678. 2 decimal places means 2 numbers after the decimal. Here's our decimal. There's 1 number after the decimal and 2 numbers after the decimal. So I want 2 numbers in my final answer, but in order to do that, I need to actually look at the next guy over, the third one. And if this number, the third decimal place, is under 5, then these 2 numbers would stay the same. But if that number is between 5 and 9, I would round up. So in this case, I've got 3.5678. I want 2 decimal places, the 5 and the 6. But since that 7 comes after the 6, I'm actually going to write that as 3.5. Not going to leave that as a 6. I'm going to round this 6 to a 7. So there we have rounded to 2 decimal places. Let's take a look over here. Let's say that this one was also we were asked to round to 2 decimal places. So again, 2 decimal places meaning here's the decimal, 1 number after the decimal, 2 numbers after the decimal, and then I'm going to look at that next guy. Doesn't matter what's happening over here if there were more numbers. All that matters is that next number. And if that number is under 5, in this case it is, it's a 1, I am going to leave that number the same. I'm not going to change it. So this rounded 9.321 rounded to 2 decimal places would just be 9.32. That 2 is not changing. 2 doesn't go down, it just stays the same. So hopefully that clears a little bit up about rounding.